Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's had a sumptuous lunch. Thank you for coming back. So my name is Nishit Kamdar. I lead the data and AI workloads for all large conglomerates across India, like L&T. And I'm joined by my colleague Omkar, who's also a data and AI specialist, and he handles all the large startups in the country. Right. What we're going to be doing today, go back. One more. Yeah. Yeah. So next 1 hour, what we'll do is we'll do a mix of slides. We'll not bore you with a lot of presentation, but it'll be a mix of a very small introduction and a deep dive on AI at Google as well as Vertex AI platform. Omkar will then show you an end-to-end demo, right, of how do you go about creating and using Vertex to build actual industry experience and industry use cases. And then the best part is we've curated a couple of labs, right? We've registered most of you. Our folks are also registering. Some of you just entered. So please take also an advantage of a very curated lab where you'll be able to experience Vertex AI yourself to be able to build the next generation of Gen AI applications. Yeah. Before we jump into the platform, agents are the flavor of the season. You would have seen agents being talked about from our friends at the other companies as well. I'll give you a sneak peek of what Google is going to come next year with. It is pretty interesting, where we are using our multimodal capabilities of Gemini, marrying it with the personal digital assistant, right? And this is what is going to come out next year. So let's just have a sneak peek. Play? So this is internally called Project Astra. The name probably will change.
Okay, let's do some tests. Tell me when you see something that makes sound.
I see a speaker, which makes sound.
What is that part of the speaker called?
That is the tweeter. It produces high-frequency sounds.
Give me a creative alliteration about these.
Creative crayons color cheerfully. They certainly craft colorful creations.
What does that part of the code do?
This code defines encryption and decryption functions. It seems to use AES-CBC encryption to encode and decode data based on a key and an initialization vector, IV.
That's right. What neighborhood do you think I'm in?
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London. It is known for its railway station and transportation connections.
Do you remember where you saw my glasses?
Yes, I do. Your glasses were on the desk near a red apple.
What can I add here to make this system faster?
Adding a cache between the server and database could improve speed.
What does this remind you of?
Schrodinger's cat.
Alright, give me a band name for this duo.
Golden Stripes.
Nice. Thanks, Gemini.
Alright, so that's kind of the culmination of everything that you've been working all along in AI in terms of the understanding of the image, text, text to image, and all of that coming together. Watch out for that next year, right? Now, moving on, all of these innovations that we see today, right? All of this is basically being possible because of Google's almost 2 to 3 decades of very solid, research in all of these areas. Pretty much the entire big data platform, big data solutions actually came out of the Google white paper. Similarly, in AI as well, The path-breaking, research that was done in the transformer and the diffusion model actually led to what we all know today as generative AI applications, right? This paper was the basis for that, and pretty much everything today that is being built is around that, right? Now, what we believe at Google is all of these innovations are only as good as the amount of impact it can bring onto areas, right? One is how can all this innovation be used to, kind of take the society forward, to help our humankind, right? And the second important thing is, how do we make all of these innovations that we've done, package it in a platform in Google Cloud and offer it to the enterprises like yours, so that you also can get the benefit of all of these innovations, right? So two objectives. One, to help the society. I think some of you have already seen this, right? Three of our two existing and ex-Googler have been bestowed with the Nobel Peace Prize. This one is for the AlphaFold, creation. It's a award in chemistry. For those of you who've heard it for the first time, AlphaFold is a technology that Google DeepMind created to be able to predict all the proteins that today exist in the mankind, in the science, right? And what it does, it allows you to identify these structures in seconds, which used to take about years to be able to find that. And this has been a breakthrough in terms of helping 2 million plus researchers in their areas of like cancer treatment, malaria, even COVID, some of it was used, etc. Right? So yeah, this is the whole motive, right? Give the society all of this technology back to help them move forward. Jeffrey Hinton, probably some of you might know, he's the father of neural networks. He invented neural networks, and he's also bestowed the prize, in physics, right? The second goal that I said was, how do we package everything that we do, right, and bring it to you as an enterprise? And that's where this whole session around Masterclass of Vertex AI, was thought about, because everything that we do in AI is available as one single end-to-end AI platform called Vertex. Right? It's available on the Google Cloud. Most of you guys would have already experienced it. We'll show you as part of this. But essentially what we've done is we've basically brought everything together under these 3 to 4 key areas. One is for the builders to build a model. So today in Vertex AI, you can build a custom model. You can build an AutoML model. AutoML, for you guys, those of you who don't know, is again an invention of Google, which allows you to automatically build a machine learning model just on the data. So the cycles of the data or model creation comes down to like days from months or years, right? So you can build a custom model, you can build an AutoML model, or you can build a Gen AI model based on Google's LLMs, right? So that's this piece. Along with this, we also offer what is called as Model Garden, where there are 150 SOTA models, state-of-the-art models from all of these other providers like Anthropic, Cohere, llamas and all of that are also available to you just by a few clicks, and you can mix and match, right? So those basically are the model build areas. On top of it, the agent builder, which we're now getting into a next generation of AI, where we're not just predicting something or generating, we are also asking AI to perform the tasks, right? So that's where we're building the whole agent builder layer. All of this running on very strong Google TPU, GPU plus NVIDIA infrastructure, right? And when you have all of this, you can start then thinking of building high-level applications, AI application, whether it is using it within the workspace and Google Cloud or building your own AI services, right? So that's how it is. Now I'll just touch upon 2 to 3 key important aspects of Vertex, and then we'll move on to the demo and see this in action, right? So the first thing that we always advise, like for example, I lead the large conglomerates, right? So when I'm with CXOs of the large, conglomerates group, often the question that comes to me is, how do I go about selecting the right platform? What should be the right ingredients for you to do your whole investment, right? A future investment into finding a platform, right? And if you look at the whole data in AI space, these are the 5 things that you should think about, right? Whether the platform offers an integrated solution to go from data and AI, right? And the Gen AI space is not where one provider will rule it all, at least for now. So you should also look at a provider who's giving you the flexibility to onboard other companies' models, right? So with Vertex AI, You can connect into the petabyte scale data infrastructure that Google offers, BigQuery, etc. You can have all of these Google Compute as well as NVIDIA is our partner and can offer all of those GPUs. We offer our own TensorFlow model, again Google invention, but along with that we offer all the other industry frameworks for the dev folks to be able to build the model, right? On the model front, we have our own LLM, Gemini, which is probably one of the top ones today, but then there are a host of other models that also we offer, 150 plus as I said, from Mistral, Gemma and all of those, and then finally agents, right? So select a platform that basically is homegrown. It is integrated and it also allows you to onboard other people's models so that you're not limited by, say for example, not having accuracy of that particular provider's model, right? That's the first bit. The second thing is, while I can offer you the best of the tech, right? What really works for the enterprise is the models that is grounded in your data, right? So unless I give you option to be able to have the model trained on your data, it's like just calling an API, doing a search on Google or doing just a chat, etc. Right? So what we offer today are these three ways of grounding your data or using your data, right, as a layer of training on top of the LLM models that we train, right? Whether it is through the usual training that we do, or tuning, fine tuning as the industry calls it, or also through augmentation where you can look up, call your data and augment it with a model. Very, very important for enterprise. This is step 2, right? And the third thing is, what we're doing is everything that gets built at a Google or even at an Alphabet level, our endeavor is to kind of have that package in the Vertex AI platform, because that's the only way we can pass it on to the enterprises, right? So all of the advancements, for example, the 1.5 Flash and the new one, 1.5 Pro, all of them are available in Vertex AI for use as soon as they are upgraded at Google level, right, in terms of the model, so you're not left behind, right? This one is the latest on the block with 2 million context windows, etc. Right? So again, the endeavor is pass on all the innovations back to the enterprises so that they can start using it, right? And the last thing is, as I said, about a few years back, people who've been in AI, the idea was to do forecasting, prediction. Then we moved into generation. With generation AI, you can do all of these generation in minutes and seconds, right? With creative use cases, video, audio, right? But now it's going to be a leap forward where we're also expecting this intelligent agents to be able to, work together, right, and accomplish a task, right? And that's going to be a big leap. So everyone is kind of focused on that. We are going to be, we are also looking at a huge amount of research getting into production and rolling out all of these agents. These have ability to be able to work together, right, in more seamless fashion to be able to accomplish the task, right? So, not taking too many slides. In short, the answer when a customer asks me what do you look for, to summarize, what you should look for is a platform that does its own innovation and does not just depend on somebody third party because they don't have a control over it. So, a company that invests and builds their own model, plus offers you a vertically integrated an option to include 150 plus other models like us, right? And the most important thing, I didn't have a lot of slides because I didn't want to have just too much connect. The third and the most important thing is responsible AI, right? If you look at the models out in the market today, Google is the only player who's offering you an indemnity on everything that's generated in terms of the image or text. We will help you basically should there be a legal case. So we offer that legal piece to our customers so that they can build Gen AI in a responsible way, right? So that's kind of an overview of our Vertex platform. We will basically see all of this in action where we're using all the tech I've told you, in terms of a demo, and then we'll help you guys start, learning it yourself. Over to you, Omkar.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Nishit. And after that dose of a beautiful cheesecake out there, right? Everyone deserves a coffee. So what we decided was to start a new business right here, where the job is to serve coffee, but on wheels. So just imagine that on the streets on this planet, you find trucks. And on this beautiful cold morning in the Mumbai today, someone wants or craves a hot cappuccino. The business is very simple. My job is to serve coffee. But let's think from an enterprise standpoint of view. What are my top challenges as a business? First is, how do I ensure that I don't miss out on any opportunities of selling coffee? For example, if there was a coffee truck outside, probably I would have experienced a lot of footfall out there. That's the first problem. Second is, how do I actually control something which is not in my control? For example, weather. We know that Mumbai as a city has only two weathers. One is a lot of rain and second is a lot of heat out there. So if it rains, that is a very big disruption to my business. How do I control that thing which actually is not in my hands right now? Third is, how do I acquire new customers? For any business to scale at large, you require to acquire new customers. And fourth is to actually hear your customer voices and you ensure that you retain them. So these are the four challenges that typically every business faces in their entire life cycle, and this is one of the deciding factors that evaluates whether you survive or not. So since we are talking about data and analytics and AI today, we decided to call this business as Data Beats. So let's get started. So right now at this point in time, I have my operations across 4 cities that you see on the screen: London, New York, SF and Tokyo right now. And I do see certain statistical numbers, like what is my daily revenue out there, how much growth that I've experienced. This is all something, as and when my sales happen, my operational data populates. You do have BI tools that help you out to do this thing. But let's deep dive more into it now. So, as we all know, that my business is basically trucks that are placed across different locations at a particular timeline. So what you see at the bottom over here is the time throughout the day, and what you see on the map is like the movement of those particular trucks, and right now you see that these trucks are located over here somewhere. So if I just scroll back through this particular timeline, you will see all the trucks moving across. And the moment I hit at this point in time, at somewhere around 12:57, I see that there was a particular concert that was going on at that point in time. There was a large footfall of people in that area over here. But since none of my trucks were present at that location, I lost a business of, let's say, $1,000, considering I'm a startup right now. So, this is a loss for me. How can I use AI to actually help me not lose these opportunities or leverage on top of it? So what happens is, all this data, as I move ahead in the timeline at this point in time, I see that, okay, there is a football event that is going to be happening at 8:14 in the evening. How did I find this out? All the Google Trends data, all the Google Searches data, they all are located at one single storage called Google BigQuery. The generative AI models, that is Gemini, is integrated with BigQuery in this scenario. It analyzes the pattern, it analyzes the traffic data altogether, and identifies the events which can cause increase in the footfall of customers. And it makes a suggestion that, okay, here is where the football event is going to happen. If you actually go ahead and route your trucks to this particular location, you can maximize your profits. Not only just prediction, most of the times what happens is, okay, how do I take actions on top of that prediction? You use AI to predict something, but actually when the time comes that to take that action, you actually go ahead and make it a manual process. So the system actually goes ahead and gives you the capability on a real time to go ahead and place your trucks at this particular location on the fly over here. So it's data, AI, and actions all on one single console. What happened here just right now is we took the capabilities of BigQuery, which can store structured, unstructured events, streaming data. We complemented it with Gemini, which is part of our Vertex platform, which Nishit was talking about earlier, which gave you this particular prediction that, okay, you need to route your trucks over here. And the platform that you see, the application on top of which it was developed, actually gives you the capability to take the actions from here in itself. That's the first problem, wherein you actually go ahead and explore new avenues of revenue or don't miss out on opportunities of revenue. Now comes the second part, the weather part which I was talking about. So I see that Thursday over here looks a bit rainy, which can disrupt my business. Let's see Gemini, if Gemini can go ahead and give me the updated routes for my trucks so that I can ensure that I can cater to those people who are craving for a good hot cappuccino on a rainy day, but at the same time cause the minimum possible disruption in my business. So I simply go ahead and ask Gemini, please provide me what can be my updated routes over here. So depending on the historical patterns of the truck displacement during rainy season, it is coming up with the best possible combination of your trucks so that, okay, there is minimum possible disruption in your business, yet you ensure that you cater to maximum amount of people out there. That's the second problem. So what we just did right now was we actually anticipated that, okay, rain is going to disrupt my business, and we actually took measures on the fly to actually ensure that it impacts me the least possible using generative AI. The third problem which I talked about was tapping into new customer segments. Let's see. Right now what you see on the screen is what are my top 3 most performing as well as least performing products that I am trying to sell. If I go ahead and start to launch a campaign, for example, most of the people who are in London, they might be speaking English, but it can be a mix of people, right? Each and every one of us can speak different dialects. So I want to reach out to those particular customers in the language that they understand. It should also be capable of generating the image of the product that I am trying to launch. At the same time, it should give me the entire target audience that if I launch this campaign, what would be the impact that this particular thing is going to do to my business. So here what it is doing multiple things, and hence we need those multi-models approach to solve such kind of problems. First is to analyze the data. Second is to come up with the image option over here that, okay, we are going to launch something, at data being struck cafe. At the same time, at the top, if you saw, generate an emailer. Not only just this thing, let us say I would want to reach out to my customers in the language that they prefer. For example, if I want to target the Bengali audience living in London, for example, my AI should be capable enough to translate that very same thing on the fly, okay, and then give me what would be the target audience. If you just saw earlier, it was 72%. Now only 7% of the population living in London is Bengali speaking. And then finally, the same thing is where you go ahead and send this emailer to your customers so that they crave and utilize the benefit of your coffee. So this is where you actually go ahead and tap into new avenues of businesses altogether. The fourth problem which I talked about was, okay, I had a coffee today, but it was too cold, honestly. I didn't like it. Or how do I increase my customer retention in this scenario? That is where what we see over here right now. For example, if you see that there are a lot of customer reviews that I see in this scenario. I just see that, okay, someone gave a negative review to my coffee stating that, okay, this is a bad service. There was a lot of waiting time and everything. Not over the money, noisy place, not a family friendly place either. So I do understand that my customers are very important, and in this scenario, the AI actually went ahead and actually categorized it as a negative sentiment provided by this particular customer, and it comes up with a suggested response at the same time on the fly, which you can actually go ahead and click send in this scenario, so that you ensure that you don't lose your customer, or at least try to do something to ensure that the customer is not churned in this scenario. So 4 things we just saw right now. First is, how do I ensure my business functions operationally via the routing placement and I don't lose out on any business opportunities. Second is, how do I actually control things which are not in my control, honestly. Third is, how do I tap into new avenues of business, reach out to my customers in their preferred way to bring that interpersonal communication between me and my customers today. And then finally, how do I ensure that I give a feeling to my customer that your voices are heard and we are there for you, and you increase the retention from that customer. In this entire scenario, there is just one model, which is Gemini, being utilized. Everything from image generation, from text to audio, over here to your sentiment analysis, for your analyzing the data, historical data, and giving you the latest route for the trucks and everything. And that is why we keep on harping that why your models need to be really multi-model to support the real life use cases. Because our business is not just one single thing that you generate the campaign and you're done with. It has to be backed up by a historical analysis of the data. At the same time, it should be capable enough to give you suggestions, understand your customers' feedback, and then come up with different products options. So as next step, what we are going to do right now is we are going to actually do a hands-on lab on Vertex AI, how Vertex AI enables customers. We'll see the multimodal approach. So most of the people who are sitting in the front right now might be registered. For those who have not registered, the labs will be available for everyone till 30th, 24/7. It's free of cost. I'll just pull up. Yeah. So what's gonna be your friend in this scenario is the QR code over here right now on the screen. Just
quick raise of hands, how many are already registered? Okay,
67%.
Yeah, thank you.
However, if you are still willing to register, please scan this QR code right now. It's absolutely free of cost, and then we can enable these labs and everything for you. And for those who have actually registered right now and who want to do this exercise with us, please follow me as I share my screen right now, and we can do the labs together. And for those who didn't get the chance to register, please follow along with us. And if you have any questions, please jot them down. We'll be taking those questions accordingly.
For the folks who've registered, gone through QR and submitted this form, when you log in, you should probably see some of these trainings here listed in your console. Yeah? So you just have to click that lab, right, and you can probably work in sync with us as we also execute the same lab here.
Alright, so for the folks who have registered with us right now, if you go to explore.quicklabs.com, you will see 3 labs. These 3 labs actually denote, all the features that we actually went ahead and showed. Today what we are going to do is, we are going to do a lab called Getting Started with Vertex AI Studio.
Everybody is able to find this?
Is everyone able to see this lab titled as Getting Started with Vertex AI Studio in their Quick Labs?
Okay, I see some show of hands. Good. Sorry?
Alright, just click on that lab and select open. So this is something that will open up in this scenario.
So this is basically an environment called Quick Labs that Google offers. It is an integrated environment that actually runs like a Vertex Studio, right? And it will give you all of these, commands that you just have to execute so as to help build the entire exercise. Shall we start?
So what you need to do over here is just click on Start Lab and you will see this dialog box over here right now. Now before we do that, right, all the instructions are mentioned over here in this scenario. We just need to follow it. If you don't want to switch your screens again and again, you can actually follow along with me. So as the first step says, right, open this particular thing in the cloud console. So automatically your student email ID would be copied over here. You just have to go ahead and copy the password, paste it over here, and then finally you are in. So this is something that you will see once you are logged into the lab over here. It's a free to run environment. The lab will be active for 1 hour because the duration of this lab is for 1 hour. Now the next instruction in this lab is very simple. You have to enable Vertex AI API in this scenario. So just copy this Vertex AI API and type it in your search option right now. So you will see this second option called as Vertex AI API. It's over here right now. Just click on it at this point in time and click on enable. So what this does is basically all the functions and the features of the Vertex AI platform, it enables it so that users can actually go ahead and start utilizing it. It will automatically redirect you to a different place and it should look something like this in this scenario. Now, moving back to the instructions, what we are going to do is we are going to play with the Vertex AI Studio. In this scenario, we would actually go ahead and configure some prompts and let's see what the AI responds to us in this aspect. So what I would request everyone to do in this scenario is just go to Vertex AI Studio in this scenario. So over here, just type Studio. And this is something that you should see over here. Now as per the instructions, we will have to select something called as freeform in this scenario. You will see multiple options. Just go to freeform or open chat. Is everyone who are actually executing the lab with me by now?
Yeah, good number of people from your side. Anybody here? Okay, cool.
Show of hands for people who are with me, who are executing. Alright.
So this is actually the entire Vertex platform that we talked about. All of these features on the left hand where you will cover everything that you need to do to build custom ML, AutoML as well as GenAI. I think we are going to be focusing on GenAI today, but then the other things are also in there.
Alright. So now next what we'll do is, in the lab itself, there will be an image that will be provided. It looks like a flight board. It shows the different timings of a flight schedule. So what we'll do is, we'll just right click on this, we'll save it as an image into our downloads option right now. We'll just simply do that because this is the image that we are going to use in our lab. And then from here, I will just go ahead and click on upload. I will go to my download section, I'll select that image and I'll just open it. So you should see something like this thing over here. So what we have just done is, we have just taken up an image and we have added that image to our prompt, okay, right now. And then I just simply go to the next instruction, copy this, okay, can you please title this image. So in the same prompt, I just paste it. So the first one is the image over here, the second one is the title that you see over here. And then what I simply do is, I simply click on hit run, that you see over here. So there are multiple responses that you have got for this image. What could be the title? Okay, in this scenario, airport departures board is one of them, that is simple and descriptive. Similarly, you have flight schedule display. It basically goes ahead and checks that image. It pulls up the instruction that you are trying to give it to that particular API over there, and then finally generates the output at the bottom in this scenario.
Let's wait for.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody able to do this? Yeah. Essentially, what it is doing, it is using the model that is listed on the right hand side there. If you can just click on that.
So right now what I'm doing is, I'm using a Gemini 1.5 Flash, which is one of the latest models that we have released.
So it allows you, so this is basically an interface into Gemini, right, through Vertex. Whatever gets built at a Gemini level is integrated here, allowed as an option for you to select so that you can fire prompts on that, right? And since it is multi-modal, you can do text, you can do image, you can do video and all of that, right? So it's very simple, just an 8K model.
So what all things that you can actually go ahead and upload to this particular model? It can be a URL. If you want to do some website scraping and ask questions on top of it, it can go ahead and do that. It can go ahead and import the data from cloud storages or any YouTube video link if you want to analyze the entire YouTube video, or image files or documents or PDF files. It can go ahead and scan through all of them. Then the second instruction says that, okay, just be more specific with respect to this title. Just you give me a title in 3 words. And I simply go ahead and run this particular thing. So a simple title that I see over here in this scenario is airport departure board in this aspect. Then what I'll ask it to do is, can you please go ahead and read the text, because I would want to extract. Now, from a banking standpoint of view, right, a lot of times we get PDF documents or pictures uploaded by our customers, Aadhaar card, PAN card or something like that, and you would want to extract the information from that particular piece that is being uploaded. So instead of using different systems for doing or capturing information from that one single piece of document, this is where the multi-model approach actually goes ahead and fits in. It can do multiple things with one single model in this scenario. So what I do is, I just simply click on play over here. So right now what it has done is, okay, at 10:50 I have Moscow, then at 11 I have Edinburgh. This is not readable at this point in time. So I would want to ask it, okay, can you please make it readable, something in the format of a table so that it's human readable in this scenario. So I'll simply go ahead and give it an instruction, and then finally go ahead and run this. So I'm asking it to pass into 2 columns, time and city, and then this is the output looking like in this scenario, which is more readable. Earlier it was a single line output, now it's more of like a, So typically if you are scanning through documents of a particular customer or portfolio of a particular customer and you want to extract information, this is a single API that you utilize from this entire, Vertex AI platform.
So just imagine, just within a few seconds, what we've done is what is just a very unstructured image that I just clicked. From then, I've actually been able to extract all the information that I wanted, right? And that too in a format that then can be used for any downstream IT systems, right? So that's the power of multimodal. Use one model, feed any image, text, video, get all the intelligence that you want to build out of that, right? And then use it for your IT system. Yeah.
Perfect.
Good until here.
Alright, let's give it a mathematical calculation this time. So, can you please identify the flights, percentage of flights honestly, that are actually going ahead to different components. So actually there are 12 flights in this scenario. So it goes ahead and finds out, okay, there is this one continent which is Europe, most of the flights are going over here in this scenario. So there are 100% flights in the board, of which all of them are going to Europe in this scenario. So if you want to go ahead and ask it certain questions based on the image that it has went ahead and scanned, you can do that as well in this scenario. So that you build more information on top of something. For example, I would want to calculate some kind of a mathematical parameter based on the input documents that the user has provided. This is where you can utilize it to do calculations on top of images or videos or documents that you have uploaded by now. And once you are done with this, you can just click on check my progress over here. Okay, it's not mandatory over here. This is just if you would want to have a certificate at the end. And you can ensure that, okay, you have completed all the steps that I have mentioned above over here. Now, the second part is, okay, to explore the multimodal capability, but this time we'll use a video in this scenario. So what I'll do is, for this particular lab, as a next instruction, I would want to activate my Cloud Shell. So the way to do is, there is an option over here, just next to Gemini. The moment you enable it, a screen comes up at the bottom, which looks something like this thing. It is a dark black screen.
Just wait. Is everyone able to get the terminal window?
Is everyone able to get it? Yeah, that is fine. It's an optional thing. It's an optional thing.
Maybe
You can do it post completing the entire lab as well. Now what we do is type something called as cloud storage over here and go to cloud storage and you will see something called as buckets on the left hand side. It would be empty right now. We'll go ahead and create a bucket. Let's say Omkar bucket test. So this is the name that I would want to give. Just continue, just keep everything as same, just keep on doing continue. And then finally, you just hit create. Just click on confirm in this scenario. And the bucket is created over here. So the name of the bucket is Omkar test bucket. You can give your bucket. So what we are essentially doing is, there is a public video, okay, of a train which is stored at this particular location. We are actually taking that video and copying it into our bucket. So we are simply just going to copy this command over here, go to our shell and paste it over here in this scenario. And then finally, once we are here, we just, edit this part and just type Omkar test bucket and just hit enter. You just authorize it for now and then you will automatically be seeing that, okay, it is copying the data, Omkar bucket test, sorry, my bad. you will see the video is being copied in this scenario. And then simply what I do is I, navigate back to my Vertex AI Studio from this part. If you want, you can just, minimize this aspect over here. And as per the next instruction, we just going to generate with Gemini, click open free form, and then insert media and import from cloud storage. The same thing that we did earlier. Generate free from, use free form right now. Insert media, insert from, not this.
Cloud storage.
Cloud storage. So it will give you an option in this scenario that select your particular cloud storage that you would want to have, and then you just simply click on select. Automatically what you will see that train.mp4 is actually over here. What Gemini has done in this scenario is actually calculated that how many tokens are present inside this particular video when I went ahead and uploaded. And this is where, the number of tokens, they actually make sense. The more the number of tokens, the more the amount of data that you can, go ahead and upload to Gemini. In that scenario, you can actually go ahead and upload movies and then ask questions based on that top of that particular video. Then as next step, we'll just simply take this and ask it, okay, please go ahead, title the video in this scenario, and then you just simply hit run. So what, in this scenario, what is happening is, it actually goes ahead through that video frame by frame, and then, it gives you multiple options of this particular, video. What could be the favorable title in this scenario? So you can upload files, video files of the data, and then you can start asking questions in this scenario. Okay, where was the train, where it was passing by, or was this customer inside his house or outside his house while approving the loan application in this, and then you can actually go ahead and find it out from this particular aspect.
So a lot of KYC these days is done using video recordings, right? If they have gone to a Kotak or some of the new age banking, they'll just capture a video of you and they'll upload in the system. On the back end, these are some of the checks that they do, whether the person is in the video or the video is incorrect, whether the face is visible, features are visible, right? So all of this video processing comes very handy. Yeah.
Alright. So now a bit of information about prompting. So mainly there are three types. One is a zero-shot prompting, where you don't give any information or any context to a model, and then you simply start asking it questions and let it rely on the public information and then give you the answer. A single shot prompting is like you provide it one example. For example, this is how 1 plus 1 is 2. What is 2 plus 2? You give it one example. And a few shot prompting is like, okay, you give multiple examples of that case study, like a rule engine, and then let the model develop its own understanding regarding the kind of questions that you would ask it, and then finally go ahead and start asking questions or your doubts regarding. So what we are going to do in this scenario is a zero shot prompting. We simply go ahead and copy this thing. Again, go back to our Vertex AI. We are not saving it. Open chat in this scenario, and then I go ahead and ask it what is prompt gallery in this scenario. So it gives you multiple options in this scenario. What can a prompt gallery mean in different scenarios? I did not specify multiple or did not provide it any context. In the system instructions part is basically where I can actually go ahead and provide the context to this particular model in this scenario. So, due to the paucity of time, what one-shot prompting is again the same thing. You go ahead and actually, in the input field provide, okay, if the color of grass is green in this scenario, this is an example, then what could be the color of sky? The answer should be blue in that aspect. So that is what, an example of single shot prompting looks like. You can go ahead and execute the same thing in the free form of text. And then finally you have a few shot prompting where you actually, if I just go back to my Vertex AI and then open in free form and then click on add examples. Okay, I can just simply go ahead and start copying. Okay, the first input is a kind of a sentiment that was given to me by my customer in this scenario. A well-made, entertaining file. Okay, the response was positive, for example. Okay.
So what we are doing is basically we are giving some structure to Gemini. It's saying that we'll ask you a question, right? And the answer of this question has to be like this. If I just ask this question of well-made film or what is the color of the sky, Gemini will use its own intelligence and give you whatever is the right answer. I want to tweak it, and that's what prompt engineering is all about. You want the model to behave in a certain way so that you get the desired output. So here we are kind of training the model or giving the prompt that all the instructions on the left have to be the answers in the right? And you use this, and then whenever I ask you a question which is similar to this, give me the answer, which is a positive or a negative. That is the few shot program. So
and then I give it a separate prompt. Okay, I give it a review that okay, it was a well time spent in this scenario. So over here I provide it as an input, and then finally see what would be the output. So it calculated the sentiment of that particular customer. So this is where technically it is coming from. If you saw that one of my customers had given a review that okay, the place was not family friendly, the coffee was too cold, okay, the services were not good, it was a negative review. So this is where technically it is coming from in this scenario, from the same thing that we are being doing right now. And then finally what you have is generate conversations. So let's just go back. I'm not saving it, but you are expected to save so that you can, go ahead and check your progress in the lab. This time we are going to use chat. Then we use the Pro model as per the instructions. And then finally, we'll add a system instruction that, okay, the name of the agent is Roy. It's a support technician in an IT department. Okay. And the only thing that this support engineer is aware is, okay, you have to just respond it only one thing, that have you tried turning it on or off or something like that. Okay. And then what I'll do is, there is a question which I'm asking over here, that my computer is very slow, what should I do in this scenario? So if you want to have more degree of control, what I'm trying, it's just a very crude example, I'm just giving some context that, okay, apart from this thing, you should not say anything, okay, in this scenario. And then whatever, kind of a question that I ask over to this particular agent, the only thing that it is going to go ahead and, have you tried to, do this particular action or not. So, this is an example of a place where you actually go ahead and provide certain context. You give it certain theory, so that it understands the scenario. It can be a B2C facing bot or an agent that is actually going and talking to the customers. Behind the scenes, it is collecting certain data, but at the same time, it is responding to the customers in a particular format which the organization wants.
And this is very typical because most of the organizations are building these chatbots like, for example, Ask HR, right? I've got an organization where there are tons of HR policy documents. I want a chatbot that points to that and answers all the employee questions, right? Now, say, for example, if I don't have something like a context or grounding, and if I say my computer is slow, it will just go and fetch the best option available in terms of technology, which is not what I want to solve for, right? So what we do is basically have the enterprise, point it to the enterprise data, so that when a person asks that what is the policy or a leave policy for this organization, it goes and refers my document, right? Rather than just getting the best answer from internet, right? So what we are doing is we are using the best of the internet knowledge that the LLM is trained on, right? But then overlaying it with the enterprise knowledge or the grounding so that it becomes more apparent to your business and to your customers. Right? So this is a very small crude example, but just to give you that foundation knowledge.
Now what I just did was I changed the context. Okay? You are here to support the customers with their queries. I made it open statement. Okay, right now let Gemini figure out what could be the reason in this scenario. So I just asked the same query again. And then, it gave me a whole list of responses that the user can do. Okay? Depending on the different problems, it is trying to ask further more questions so that it can actually go ahead and develop the context of the entire problem and then have a conversation with that user and then finally arrive at a particular solution. So, both the spectrums, right? If you want a user, okay, the interest rates are only this. It should not speak anything apart from this scenario. Or, if you want the model to actually go ahead and understand the user's problem by asking further more questions and then go ahead and formulate hypotheses based on the user responses, that is what you go ahead and cover over here. And then finally, you again click the last, check my progress, and that completes our lab over here right now. So
in summary, I think what we wanted to show to you, and this is just very basic given the amount of time and since we've just scratched the surface, is that you can use the Vertex AI platform, you can use all of these interfaces, even if you are not a hardcore developer, right? There's no coding that we did here. So everybody can experience that. You can work with our multimodal capabilities in terms of image that we showcase to you, the trained MP4 in terms of video, as well as the freeform text, right? This is the basic capabilities that you'll anyways need for all of your GenAI. There are much more advanced capabilities as well in terms of the fine-tuning or the custom model that we support, right? But again, this will hopefully give you an insight into what Vertex AI can do for you.
Alright. I think team, we do have 1 minute and 48 seconds. If you have any questions, we are happy to take them.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
My name is Sudarshan, I'm part of Identity Finance. At the beginning of the use case demo, you said that you are going to generate responses. You're going to select the path of the truck of the database company using Gemini. Can you explain how you are doing a route optimization using a language model?
Okay. So, it's a simple thing. All your historical data is being stored inside Google BigQuery. Google BigQuery itself is now kind of interface with models inside Vertex AI. It's pre-integrated with Gemini. It is very well equipped to train machine learning models. So what Gemini does in this scenario is, it trains a BQML model behind the scenes based on the English instruction that you give it. Now that BQML model is actually utilized behind the scenes to predict the coordinates based on the historical map location data that you have, and then finally Gemini gives you the output that BQML returns to it.
Training is a separate process and inferencing is a separate process. So are you training up before that?
Yeah, so what happens is what you see here is basically a trained model, right? Already deployed, and inference of the trained model used by Gemini to help you with the use case. That's how it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Can you share some of the details around pricing for using Vertex AI?
Yeah, so we will, it's a public page, right, where we've updated all of the latest and greatest pricing. There are, I think, multiple SKUs available, right, but typically at a very high level, we charge on the number of API calls that happen, right, which is basically the standard pricing for all, folks, for the Gemini model. If you want to do training on top of it, right, the pricing is basically in terms of the number of CPU hours that you need for training or kind of fitting that model.
This
Those
is
are
for a
what-
custom model development.
Got it. Just one follow-up question, if that's okay. Now, this would also require additionally memory and other network usage, so that's over and above additional costs involved, or this is an all-in cost at a CPU level?
No, that we kind of take care of that
So it is
ourselves.
managed, sir. Just to answer it, the platform is designed in such a way that, okay, for that particular hours, you don't get any extra additional cost for network and everything, and hence it's a completely end-to-end managed platform.
Yeah.
It's a PaaS.
Alright, thank you.
Alright. I think, yeah, we are 1 minute over.
All right, thank you everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the
and I hope
wonderful
you liked
audience.
it. And hope to catch up on a coffee out there. Probably real coffee beans and not kidding.
Thank you
Thanks
everyone.
everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a huge round of applause.